Hello, Gaston County parents. My name is Laura Clausen. I am one of the elementary academic facilitators. I am excited to share with you information about standards-based learning and grading for the 2021-2022 school year. Over the past year, the elementary academic facilitators have been working with administrators and teachers to develop a new grading system for elementary students. Standards-based grading and learning falls right in line with the current vision and mission statement of Gaston County Schools. The vision of Gaston County Schools is to inspire success and a lifetime of learning. Through outstanding employees and community partners, Gaston County Schools provides innovative educational opportunities for all students in a safe and nurturing learning environment. What is standards-based grading? Standards-based grading communicates how students are performing on a set of clearly defined learning targets called standards. The purpose of the standards-based grading is to identify what a student knows or is able to do in relation to pre-established learning targets, as opposed to simply averaging grades or scores together over the course of a grading period, which can mask what a student has learned or not learned in a specific subject. Gaston County Schools follows the North Carolina Standard Course of Study. You can see an example of a math standard on the screen right now. Read, write, and compare decimals to the thousandths. This is a number and operations base 10 standard for 5th grade students. They are expected to write decimals using base 10 numerals, number names, and expanded form. Compare 2 decimals to the thousandths based on the value of the digits in each place using the greater than, less than, and equal to symbols to record the results of the comparisons. So why are we moving to standards-based learning and grading? A grade has one purpose: to communicate a student's learning. Standards-based grading is designed to do that. Clearly communicate a student's academic progress towards mastering a series of clearly defined learning targets. Educational research shows that when teachers measure students' learning based on standards and not just a numerical or letter grade, then the ability for teachers to target specific areas of student strength and need is much more easily identified. Traditional grading systems are based on an average, which sometimes does not make clear to the students and their families exactly what students have mastered or what they still need to work on. How does standards-based grading differ from traditional grading? Unlike with traditional grading systems, a standards-based grading system measures a student's mastery of grade level standards by prioritizing the most recent, consistent level of performance. Therefore, a student who may have struggled at the beginning of a course when first encountering new material may still be able to demonstrate mastery of key content and concepts by the end of a grading period. In a traditional grading system, a student's performance for an entire quarter is averaged together. Early quiz scores that were low would be averaged together with more proficient performance later in the course, resulting in a lower overall grade than the current performance indicates. Standards-based report cards separate academic performance from the work habits and behavior in order to provide parents and guardians a more accurate view of a student's progress in academic areas. Effort, participation, timeliness, cooperation, attitude, and attendance are reported separately, not as an indicator of a student's academic performance. Sticking with the same standard I read to you earlier, read, write, and compare decimals to the thousandths, this is an example of a 5th grade proficiency scale. A proficiency scale articulates the learning progression of a standard. Teachers can analyze where a student's entry point is on their learning level within the standard, and then work with that student to continue the progress to reach mastery. It is clearly defined what the student has to do at each level to continue to grow. So what will the new report card look like? The design of the Gaston County Schools K-5 Standards-Based Report Card was a collective effort of our Standards-Based Trailblazer teams composed of many of our kindergarten through 5th grade teachers, instructional coaches, district and campus administrators. We understand that this looks very different than the current report cards. We will be holding parent sessions in the future to deep dive and explain the metrics behind this reporting method. So instead of students in grades 3 through 5 that receive an A, B, C, D, or F along with that numeric value, and our K2 students currently receive M, P's, and N's, all students in grades K through 5 will use this same report card key. Scores shown will reflect performances on the end-of-year grade level standards. We will mark standards that are not evaluated within a quarter with NE. A 1 shows not yet meeting the requirements for grade level work. 2 is approaching the requirements for grade level work. 3 meets the requirements for grade level work. That means that student is able to show mastery in that standard. And a 4 exceeds requirements for grade level work. Now let's take a look at the 5th grade mathematics. So that's the standard we've been talking about. Read, writes, and compares decimals to the thousandths. But you can see this is all of the priority standards that a 5th grader is expected to show mastery on. So instead of just seeing one average, you would be able to see exactly where your child stands on each one of these standards throughout the year. And growth can always continue to happen. So what is a Trailblazer parent? A Trailblazer parent is a family member or guardian of a Gaston County elementary student willing to provide feedback on the new standards-based report card. This feedback will help us make any final revisions to the report card. The district hopes to make the transition from a traditional grading system to a standards-based grading system in the 2022-2023 school year. I am so thankful that my 5th grade son's teacher is one of our Trailblazer teachers here in Gaston County. He is still receiving traditional grades, but his teacher is also using the proficiency scales to measure his progress. Throughout this presentation, I have referenced the 5th grade math standard 5.MBT.3 and shown examples of the 5th grade report card and proficiency scales. Please continue to watch my parent-teacher conference with my son's teacher to discuss the work he has already completed this year. This may be what your parent-teacher conference looks like this spring. Thank you for being a Trailblazer parent.
Hey Laura, thanks for coming to Bethams Conference.
Thanks for having me, Miss Allen. Betham just loves your class.
All right, so as you know, we are doing standards-based grading this year, and Beckham was one of the students that I chose to kind of dig deeper into what he is learning, how he's learning, and the progression that he is making. So what I'm going to talk with you about today is the standard MBT3, which was reading, writing, and comparing decimals to the thousandths. And so before we began the unit, you can see we gave him a pretest, and on that pretest he made a 59, which but that's okay because we hadn't taught it. It shouldn't have been, he shouldn't have had that great of a grade.
And like as a grade, that would have been an F.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Okay. As a grade, but it was a pretest.
Okay.
So, so he only got 2 of the questions right, and I believe there were 6 or 8 questions, and he only got 2 right.
Okay.
So I kind of took that, and then I took this learning progression thing. And you can see how, one, they have not met any requirements for
Okay.
that, but he did have some knowledge. So
Okay.
he was kind of at a 2, and I checked off here in purple what he did understand.
Okay.
Okay. So he was not proficient in the standard yet, but he did have some knowledge.
Okay. So where you didn't check purple,
He did not
wasn't able
understand
to do
that.
that yet,
Correct.
even at a level 2.
Correct.
Okay.
He did not understand. There were a couple things he just didn't understand
Okay.
at a level 2.
Okay.
So then up here for the level 3, I circled in purple what he did not know.
Okay.
He could not do these things at the level 3.
Okay. Because they don't do thousands in fourth grade,
no.
so that's a new place value.
Yes.
Okay.
They don't do that in
Okay.
4th grade. They just go to the hundreds.
Okay. So that's making me feel better about this.
Yes. So then you can look, I've got 2 of his work samples
Okay.
here, and you can see this is just basic place value to the thousandths place. He completely understood that.
Okay.
Okay. Given words, they had to write it in standard. Multiplying it by 10, he could do all that.
Okay.
Then we got a quiz once we finished lesson 3.
Okay.
That's word form, expanded form, and standard form. And you can see he totally understood how to do the expanded form, which here you can see is what I circled
He
that he
couldn't
did
do
not understand how to do.
Okay. So
So to the thousandths place. You can
Okay,
see
wow.
he is doing that to the thousandths place. Now the one that he missed, I would say is probably more of a level 4 question.
Okay.
They kind of had to take, yes, he saw that it said each coin weighs 231 thousandths, and he just wrote that down. He was supposed to, it said decide if each expression is equivalent to the weight of 10 coins, so he needed to take that one step further and multiply it by
Okay.
10 and move that place value.
Okay.
And I would say that's more of the exceeds.
Okay. So the
he's
goal would be to be at least a 3.
a 3. And based on what I'm seeing here, he is a level 3 at this point. Okay, so he is proficient.
Okay.
So he got an 87 on this and 92 on this. So I would say with this standard, this MBT3 standard, he is proficient. He understands it.
Okay. So this is what the new report card would
Yes.
look like versus like we just got interims, and this is just all of his scores averaged together.
Correct. So this right here, this is the learning progression, and then this is the report card.
Okay.
And so you can see right here, I put a 3 for that standard
Okay.
right here.
Okay.
And then, yes, these are numeric grades like 90, 100.
Right.
But this, he just gets a 3 because based on what I see, he is proficient in that standard.
So like even though like on this one quiz he bombed it, he got a 40. We talked about it, and he just didn't like show his work.
Correct.
So, but you're saying you would still give him a 3
Correct.
because you know he knows this and his work has proven
Right.
that.
He did have a 40 on that one specific quiz, and it was because he didn't work out the problems. He wasn't writing stuff down, and so that's what caused him to have that lower grade. Because you can see the rest of his grades are fine, and his overall average is
It was an 84.
84, so it is a B. So I would say that is, that sounds proficient as well. So, but yes, for this specific standard, he is doing just fine.
I think this like seeing this makes me feel so much better than like a 59, or even like knowing that you know exactly what he knew,
Right.
and what he needed to work at.
And so it's just more specific. So you can see more specific things that he knows versus just here's an 84 for the 9
And
weeks.
so then I can help him at home.
Correct.
When there are like when you move on to the next standard.
Right, and you can see there's a lot of standards, and so you will see very specific
Okay.
things each time that you get this new report card.
Okay.
new
And
things that he's
anytime
learning.
you're concerned, we'll talk and you'll let me know
Correct.
so that we can keep moving to that level 3.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, he's doing great.
Thanks so much, Miss Allen. I really appreciate
All right,
it.
thank you.